confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
McDaniel's Do-It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized do-it-best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Come with us. The new generation. The next level. Sending it big.
You're in for a good run. Let's go.
Come with us to the track, to the trails, to the slopes, to the surf, to the fight, to the race.
Look at this!
To the 4 a.m. starts, training harder, pushing further, hitting back, hard. To the fans, to the followers, and the haters.
But it doesn't matter.
Come with us to the blood, to the sweat, and the broken bones. Cue rehab. We never quit. We never give up. We take control. To the world titles. To the world's first. The world's best.
UFC strawweight champion.
Come with us. We're just getting started.
It's going to be so much fun, I promise you.
From Veterans Memorial Stadium at Snohomish High School, it is time now for STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Casey Bryant. Joining me in the booth tonight, Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig, bringing you tonight's coverage of Snohomish High School's varsity boys lacrosse team, the Panthers, taking on the Eastlake High School Wolves. It is senior night for the Snohomish High School Panthers. As we get ready for the presentation of the nation's colors and the playing of the national anthems, we will quickly shout out the starters for the Snohomish High School Panthers. Number 12, Avery Keith. Number 14, Keaton Taylor. Number 20, Mason Orgill. Number 21, Stuart Morgan. Number 25, Colton Perry. Number 34, Gabe Ames. Number 35, Christian Martez. Number 6, Jeremy Hammock. Number 41, Nick Bush. And in goal, Nathan Castillo. Time now for the national anthem.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You know, you can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back. And, you know, that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
This is Witch Doctor requesting immediate hot extra.
Here on the team, you know, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else in the boat. I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
The Eastlake High School Wolves. Jason, as we look here at the senior night festivities here for Snohomish High School Panthers, 9 seniors getting the start tonight. This is always a momentous occasion, but for the players that are out there on the field, what kind of impact will they look to make? How special will they look to make this night on the field and go out with a bang here?
Well, a lot of these kids started with the program very young, and this is the culmination of that effort. So they're taking the field with their teammates, potentially not one last time, but, on senior night, it's always a special occasion. So, I know they're all excited and really ready for some great lacrosse.
There will be Senior Day festivities at halftime of this contest. Now, of the 13 possible seniors, 9 of them are starting for Snohomish, and you compare that with Eastlake, where 5 of their starters are freshmen and 2 of them are sophomores. This is a very young but a very dynamic group, Jason. What have you seen from Eastlake lately?
Well, it's a combination of skill and just athleticism. To be starting that many number of freshmen playing at this level, you got to have both talent and speed.
For Eastlake High School, the attackmen tonight are number 4, Anthony Grassi, number 5, Tyler Ortloff, and number 13, Aiden Santini. Playing at mid are number 35, Riley Hill, and number 42, Miles Johnson. Defensively, they will trot out number 44, Jack Hughes, number 34, Jacob Sand, number 31, Nolan Budish, as well as number 1, Jake Aarons. In goal today for the Eastlake Wolves is number 33, Alex Call. The Eastlake High School Wolves will be in their black pennies with black helmets. For Snohomish High School, their white pennies with black and red helmets as well. Now, Todd, this is always an exciting thing to be a part of a Senior Day festivity here. In your many years of covering these high school sports around the area, how fun is it to be a part of these festivities?
Well, senior night is always something special because like the coach was saying, is that it could be their last night. And a lot of times the coaches will play more seniors on senior night. Obviously here we don't have as many seniors, but typically the coaches want to get the seniors out so they can get one last look at the field.
It is Riley Hill that will take the face-off right here for Eastlake High School. Countering him will be number 25, Colton Perry, a senior who is one of the best defensive players on the squad, second on the team in total ground balls this season. As Eastlake High wins the draw and starts charging up the heart of the field, that is taken immediately by by Riley Hill. As now Eastlake will set up shot, an errant pass flops all the way over to the near side wall, and we'll have a change in possession as Snohomish High School will take over. Holding on to it is number 41, Nick Bush. Jason Nick Bush, one of the most talented defenders on this Snohomish High School squad.
Yeah, I've been playing a long time, played with a lot of select clubs as well as to the Snohomish club. We're going to be sorry to see him go when he graduates.
Harassed up the left side is Gabe Ames. He's still able to get it up the left side with speed. On the attack now are the Panthers. Holding it in the far corner, now sending it up to Sammy Flores. Sammy Flores, a number 1 of these 13 seniors out there for the Panthers. Holding on the near side of your screen, around behind the cage. It is taken by Jeremy Hammock as he sends it out to the far side. Held onto by Hudson Smith, an incredibly talented attackman. Smith steps forward, trying to shake and bake. He finds himself a lane, hops it behind the net once more for Hammock. Hammock out in front, a wind and fire, sends it wide. A good scoring chance there, high danger right in front of the net there.
Yeah, but that's what we're looking for from Snohomish, is to get around, draw the slide, and hit the shooter up top.
Hold around behind. Stepping forward is Keaton Taylor. Taylor trying to work his way in front. He finds a man in front, a shot and a save made. And a good early test pass there by Alex Call. Call this season has appeared in 4 contests. He is 3-1 with a .566 save percentage. Ordinarily it is Connor Griswold's cage. Tonight it is the backup Call. Now up the other way, here come the Eastlake High School Wolves. Holding onto it and cutting in front, and a rising shot, they score. It is Miles Johnson, the freshman, getting the Wolves on the board first.
Really great individual effort, beating the defender and making the slam dunk. A great play.
A shot from right in close, as that is Miles Johnson coming up with the goal. Miles Johnson, his 7th of the season, and this his 16th appearance. And we talk about how young and upstart this squad is. We take another look, stepping forward, getting the shot over the shoulder of Nathan Castillo. And on the senior day festivities, it's the young guns, the upstarts, the next wave of talent here in the division trying to make things happen.
It's great to see the young guys contributing early.
Back to work. Here come the Wolves. Up the left side with speed. Riley Hill taking a step forward, hops it around behind the cage, now thrown in front, streaking in, trying to get a shot off was Anthony Grassi. Grassi, one of the most talented goal scorers, a turnover in front. Here's a bounce shot, and it misses the net, and you can tell right in front of the net there, Aiden Santini is flustered.
Yeah, that was probably a lucky break for the Panthers. That looked to be a pretty easy fake and dump, but it went wide.
A pretty animated, frustrated moment there for Santini as well. Santini, a freshman as well. Back on the attack come the Panthers, holding onto it behind the net, trying to set up shop. We were talking off air before, Jason, about how really Snohomish High School, they try to slow things down so that they're able to properly set up shop.
Yeah, ball control, getting the players in the right position, and then making sure everybody's on the same page.
Protecting coming up the other way, a flag on the play, a stepping forward, a low shot, they score. It is Aiden Santini. This time he converts. And Santini will come up with his 27th tally of the year. Good speed shown on that particular rush. There was a flag on the play, a slashing call. And a very dynamic start to this contest here for Eastlake High.
Yeah, Eastlake's made their 2 goals in transition. Our defense, the Snohomish defense, isn't getting settled in, and they're taking advantage of that and converting on those quick breaks.
Now on the slashing penalty, the face-off at center after the goal. A 2-0 advantage now for the Wolves. And the Wolves with an opportunity for more. A tie-up and a loose ball picked up by the Panthers. Fumbling with it for a moment was Noah Martin, a junior on this squad, as he's forced down onto the ground. And we'll get a whistle and a stop as possession will be taken by the Wolves. Starting right onto the field of play is Riley Carahale. Carahale ambles over to his right. Quick passing finds its way out to Gavin Dallas, a commit to the University of Denver, the captain of this squad, working it around the perimeter. Anthony Grassi finds its way over to Dallas. Pitch and catch, Dallas to Grassi, steps up. Holding on the far side, trying to get the Panthers moving defensively. They get it in front, and they score. A lethal shot, and just like that, 3 goals off the rip. This one off the stick of Anthony Grassi.
And it's just good ball movement. I mean, the ball just didn't sit in the stick for very long. Got the defense moving and found the open man in the middle.
You know, Todd, in lacrosse, offense is always very rife. It can come just at the drop of a hat, and this is very quick momentum-shifting play here for Eastlake High School.
Yeah, Snohomish is going to have to find an answer to slow this down a little bit because, if the score gets just a couple more points, they're going to struggle trying to come back.
Now, Eastlake High did have a 4-game win streak that was snapped back on the 28th versus Mount Si. Over the course of that 4-game win streak, they totaled 80 goals, an average of 20 a game, and you're seeing why right now. As back on the offense, holding up the right side, it is Miles Johnson. Anthony Grassi with the goal just a moment ago. Grassi, his team leading 55th goal of the season, and this is his 17th appearance. A bright spot as a sophomore, now goals in 16 of 17 games played for Grassi. Twirling his stick and working it back up towards the center of the field. Stepping forward is Owen O'Loughlin. Grassi behind the net, over for Tyler Ortloff. Ortloff with 32 goals this season as well, one of many dynamic players. Here's an overhead shot that bounces harmlessly past the cage, past the outstretched stick of Nathan Castillo. And possession will still be to Eastlake. They have controlled the pace of play for the majority here as we are 4 minutes into play. A bouncing shot in front is just wide of the net. Extending his left leg, trying to hold on to that far post is Nathan Castillo. Castillo has been under siege so far. He has played in 11 contests, 7-4 this year with a .553 save percentage. He is 5-1 in league play. As we get another bouncer picked up again by Eastlake High.
I think they were launching that into the audience.
Stepping forward, spinning away from a defender, trying to find an opening. Holding onto it is Tyler Ortloff. Finagled in front, a turnaround shot, stepping forward, overhand shot, they score. Landon Johnson, and the offensive onslaught is on. It is now 4-0 Wolves.
It's just a good look. Caught ball watching a little bit. The cutter, didn't see the cutter coming through, and it's just a nice pass and a good finish.
Now, Coach, they're getting a lot of penetration right into the middle of the net. What would you like to see Snohomish do to try to adjust to that?
It's just a matter of making sure that you know where your man is, and you don't get caught watching the ball. In that case, the cutter just got through when the defense wasn't looking.
And we'll do it again as here 4 minutes and 38 seconds into the first. The Wolves have taken a commanding 4-0 advantage over the Panthers. And the Panthers will pick up possession of the ball and try to work their way over. A good stick check, a loose ball picked up by Miles Johnson. As Johnson, a more diminutive player, and he's able to ankle break his way up the field. Cutting over to his left with a defender marking him in Zarek Johansson. He'll go off for a change as it is the Wolves once more lurking in the offensive zone around behind the cage. Out to the far side, Karahale slings it over to Landon Johnson. Possession has been dominated by Eastlake. They get it towards the middle of the field and a big open check. As throwing his weight around is Nick Bush, and that's the kind of athletic play that you expect from a savvy defender like Bush. A very strong in stature defender. Holding on behind the net, the captain, Dallas. Out in front, streaking shot, they score. Once more, it is Anthony Grassi. 5-0 Wolves.
This is where Snohomish really needs to go on the offensive and just give the defense a little bit of breather. They've been playing a lot of defense this quarter. Snohomish needs a possession.
They had the possession right off the faceoff, but they immediately get stick checked. Is that a chance where you would want to see them go further back to move forward? Is there more open space that needs to be found?
Probably just getting a little bit more support for Noah Martin, our faceoff man. Once he gets that ball, get his eyes up and find the open man.
So Snohomish High School will need to find an answer as head coach Dylan Hummel trying to work some magic for a comeback effort for the Panthers. Hummel in his third season with the Panthers, a widely successful coach here in his tenure, 36-16 heading into the contest. Made the 3A semifinals last season, of course, Westco champs in 2021. As possession is picked up by the Panthers and racing forward comes Noah Martin. Martin taking a step in, a bouncing shot is scooped off the field. A nice low save there made by Call, as Call surveys his option, and a one-and-done offensive shift there for the Panthers. A bouncing stretch pass up the field, taking a turnover for the Panthers' favor. A good stick check from behind as losing control of the puck is Perry, control of the ball. I lost track of my own sport. As there's a low to high shot, and they score. It's 6-0.
Yeah, and that's where you just wish we maybe would have had a little bit more possession on this end. We get the chance on our offensive end, and it's a quick shot that leads to a turnover and a score on the other end.
It's something that I remember I was interviewing, because I come from the hockey world, as evidenced by the fact I just called it a puck instead of a ball. But I remember chatting with Dennis Williams, who's the head coach of the local Western Hockey League team, the Everett Silvertips. And he says whether it's true whether you're in hockey, in lacrosse, and soccer, you never want to be the Bengals. You never want to be one and done, a one-hit wonder, so to speak. You never want to be, you release cherry pie and all of a sudden you're never heard from again. You want to make sure that you're able to get sustained pressure. I think that's something that Eastlake has done a very good job of, is that even if their shots are going wide, they're getting possession right back.
Yeah, and that's where we really need to settle in here and hopefully get the ball around and get a good offensive look.
It is Andrew Siemens here on the near side of your screen as Siemens steps forward, cuts to one way, trying to juke another, gets around a defender, looking across the way, deflected up into the air, settled still by Snohomish. Holding on the outside, now over to his offhand. It's Hudson Smith. Smith finds an open man, they shoot and score! It is Avery Keith, and the bleeding has been stopped. It is 6-1. And that is exactly the kind of possession that Snohomish High School needed. Avery Keith, who now has 9 goals in his last 6 games, a senior for the Panthers, coming up big on his senior day.
And it's just a matter of getting settled, like we've been talking. You know, get the possession, get the ball around, get defense moving, and the shots will be there.
Now, Todd, that is big for a momentum stopper, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, my question is for the coach is, would you be pushing your defense out a little bit further with these guys just being able to attack it so easily?
Well, my fear would be, just like they've scored a couple of times, when they start making the cuts on us, I think they're a little bit more athletic than we are. And so I'd be worried about their speed beating us if we press out too much.
On the attack once more and setting up shop are the Eastlake High School Wolves, as there's 4:50 remaining here in the first, a 6-1 commanding lead. A goal scored by Avery Keith. For Avery Keith this season, his 11th of the year. Holding on to the near side and working his way deliberately back out to open space. It is Thomas Crandall over to his right, stepping forward with speed. O'Laughlin sends it wide of the net, around behind. Tyler Ortloff finds a man in front, a nice spin move and a shot that's wired wide. Gavin Dallas with a savvy move in front there, spinning away from a defender. Still out to the open space in between the hash marks of the field. The bouncer is picked up by Thomas Crandall, working his way to his right, keeping his head up all the way. A backdoor pass that's just sent wide off the netting of Tyler Ortloff. They send it in front and they score again.
Yeah, a couple of good looks there. Where you could have scored on a couple of different times. I think there's too much. We're letting too many players into the middle unchecked, and too many open passes just coming right, in a threatening position.
Now that is Aiden Santini with the goal there for Eastlake, his second goal of the contest, and it is now 7-1 in favor of the Eastlake High School Wolves. Assuredly not the start that you would want in an emotional game, a ceremonious event.
Yeah, I think we've come out a little bit flat, unfortunately. Hopefully we get that turned around and start getting some settled possessions.
You see the skill on full display, I think, of a lot of the top players of Eastlake. You can't teach the raw athleticism. We were talking about it before we went on air, about how a lot of these players, they adopted the game very late, as back in on the attack, on a breakaway and a shot and a save made, the finest of the evening by Nathan Castillo. And back to work with a high stick check comes Miles Johnson, but to return to my point, Jason, we were talking about how a lot of these players, even when they adopt the game late, it's the speed, it's the athleticism. You're seeing that on display.
Yeah, those things you just can't teach. It's one of those things that you have naturally, and then once you develop the stick skills to go along with it, you're a lethal lacrosse player.
Anthony Grassi finds its way out to Landon Johnson, as the bulk of play so far has been spent on this half of the field. 3:15 remaining. As over on the far side is Anthony Grassi. They like to set up so much of their offense from behind the net. A lot of it flows from these skilled players as a bounce pass is fielded. Working their way, trying to find an opening towards the middle of that crease. There's a turnaround shot, and they score once more. It is Anthony Grassi, his second of the contest.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that, their coach, like all the players, when the offense is being generated from behind the net, the players up top, as soon as you see the back of your defender's helmet, you should be making a cut because that person isn't looking at you. They're getting open looks and hitting those cutters and making the scores.
Now Nathan Castillo has been beleaguered to this point in the contest. Castillo, a widely successful goaltender in league play, but right now there's just far too many openings, a very porous start here for Snohomish. Looking for an answer, a draw, one back by Noah Martin. Noah Martin throws an overhand stick check, but still able to retain possession, and working his way up is Jake Ahrens, a sophomore. Ahrens just coming off of a game where he recorded his first point, an assist at Lake Washington back on the 25th. Holding on to it on the near side is Gavin Dallas. Dallas has himself a goal in the game. He's looking to get double digits in the multi-goal game department. He has 9 of them on the season. He's got a lane to the net, elects to pass off it. Stepping forward along the goal line is Tyler Ortloff as he steps in front. Bouncing ball, fielded, retrieved around behind for Grassy. A backhand shot. It looked like that might have hit off the side of the net and bounces all the way down towards the soccer net behind the cage, and we'll get a stop with 2:05 remaining here in the first. With speed, attacking the net, a setup in front and a backdoor pass that's just sent high over the netting.
And our defense needs to get organized. We've had a couple of guys on the back door completely wide open. That was another one right there.
A relentless attack here as there's a bouncing pass over to the far side post, and they score. A low shot, Tyler Ortloff. And it is 9-1 Wolves. It is all Eastlake High here so far at Veterans Memorial Stadium. A reminder that STSPN would like to thank all of our broadcast sponsors, including Fred's Rivertown Ale House, McDaniel's Do It Best, American Family Insurance, G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Adrenaline Fundraising, Gene Johnson Plumbing, and the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Marines, and U.S. Army. Snohomish High with possession, albeit for a brief moment. A bouncing ball is picked up and scooped ahead by Tyler Ortloff. Ortloff, the most recent goal scorer for the Wolves, gets it back towards around the 40-yard line that you see on your screen. Over for Gavin Dallas, a senior himself, with only one more game after this on his regular season slate. That coming on Friday versus Skyline High School. As he very gingerly directs it over to the far side, Grassy around behind once more, Tyler Ortloff. Ortloff to the near side, Landon Johnson. Looping around, just playing keep away for a moment. Toying with their food now are the Wolves, as holding on to Landon Johnson. Finds it over to the captain, Gavin Dallas. Dallas has scored in every game in which that he has played. All 11 appearances now, as holding on to it, Landon Johnson, just circling like vultures. Now taking a step forward as he gets a defender to bite. It is Dallas spinning around another man, an overhand shot, and that is a spectacular single-handed effort to cap that off by Gavin Dallas, the 10th goal of the contest for the Wolves.
Yeah, another good individual play. Beat the first man, drew the slide, and then just spun around the person with the slide. It's where you want to see Snohomish go body and kind of neutralize that attack.
Now, Todd, I don't know if STSPN has a top 10 plays of the week, but that would certainly be a good candidate.
Well, we do like to put all of our plays up. I think that some of the best plays that we've seen so far, Eastlake, this is amazing. But we saw some really good stuff out of O'Day last week. It was just amazing.
Well, I remember we were talking before we got on air that you love the violent sports, Todd.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We want to have it where there's a little bit of something happening out there, and you know, boys, they're able to do the stick checks. And
we had one stick check earlier that knocked it clean out of his hands.
Yeah,
before.
and checking. I mean, the checking is off the hook. The Glacier Peak O'Day game, there was some flags thrown, but worth it because you'd see those checks. It was amazing.
Now, again, my world is hockey, of course, during the regular season. If it's a 10-1 game, this is about the point you grab a sweater and start swinging.
That's right. You pull it up over their head. Yeah, that's right.
Get the tin foil on your knucks and get ready to go.
Well, actually, the girls had that going up in Stanwood. I told them, I said, listen, if they're going to have the goal is messed up.
Yeah, I think they scored too many times. We might have ripped a hole in the net.
Go to the goal down here that's broke. There was some really, a lot of the football players, they like to come out and play a little bit of lacrosse, and you can really tell some of the guys that are taking the hits, they just, wow.
Now, I remember, to bring that back, the football players are often the ones that are converted to lacrosse players. We were just talking about that before, Jason, that there's a couple former football players here for the Panthers.
Yeah, we've converted a couple of football players into defensive middies for us, and it's worked out really well. Mason Orgill started last year as a junior. He's now starting on the defensive side. And Cole is come out, and he was a first-year player this year and has worked his way up and earned varsity minutes on the team.
It's something that's really cool is that Snohomish High School provides write-ups on all of their seniors that they will be honoring and celebrating here this evening. And reading through it and learning about it, you know, they all write when they started playing, 5th grade, 8th grade. Some of them are very recent. You mentioned Mason Orgill. This is only his 2nd season, and he's really worked his way into a consistent part of this team.
Yeah, senior captain this year, natural leader. And we talked about it earlier. The gift that Mason brings to the game is his natural athletic ability. We put a stick in his hand, taught him how to catch, scoop a ball, and make a pass. You know, and his athletic ability just takes care of the rest.
He has committed to San Diego State, where he will be studying business real estate when he's there. A couple brainiacs that are here on this squad. I look at Avery Keith, who is off to study both physics and pre-med at the University of Puget Sound.
Yep, he's a great player, been playing a long time, and he's like a vacuum cleaner when it comes to ground balls on the field.
That's true, and you always appreciate an athlete that can buck the dumb jock narrative, right?
Yeah.
Getting to study pre-med.
Exactly.
Spinning with the ball and working his way forward are the Wolves, shoved down from behind. That'll draw the flag.
Yeah, it looks like tripping a little bit late on the slide, got the stick in the way, and player went down.
9.7 seconds remaining here in the frame. It is already 10-1 Wolves, and they will have more of an opportunity and a lot of open field to work with. They have been dangerous, peppering Castillo with shots left and right through the first 12 minutes. Shots currently being listed as 20-4 in favor of the Wolves, and that is a 50-50 split when it comes to finding the back of the net.
Yeah, a lot of accuracy. They've had really good shot selection.
As the Wolves get ready to set up shop, the Wolves, as mentioned at the top of the broadcast, 9-7 overall this year, 5-4 in league play. As the horn will sound and we will get a stoppage in play. And we'll get to take ourselves a break through one. It is 10-1 in favor of the Eastlake High School Wolves. We'll throw it to a quick commercial. You are watching STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
I am the beast.
We at Gene Johnson are here and ready to help with our touch-free service. Being clean and safe are at the top of our minds. We're using gloves, masks, shoe covers, and lots of hand sanitizer. Our software allows us to get your approval without any physical contact. We hope you don't need us, but if you do, we're ready. Gene Johnson, clean, on time, and professional.
Welcome back to STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports presented by Les Schwab Tire. Casey Bryant here alongside Coach Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig. Jason, just before we went to the commercial break, there are some penalty brouhahas occurring between Snohomish and Eastlake.
Yeah, tripping penalty on Snohomish right before the end of the quarter. Eastlake held the ball to retain possession at the start of the quarter. They should have not been a face-off, but during that quarter there was a stick check. Illegal stick check on Eastlake, 2-minute non-releasable, so now we're even with one player down per team and back at the faceoff.
It will be 8-on-8. Now Eastlake will be attacking the right side net with Snohomish attacking left side. It is 10-1 in favor of the Wolves, an offensive barrage in the first. And they are back to work with possession with a lot of open field. Thomas Crandall around behind the net. Working it over to Landon Johnson, very active in their possession game the entirety of the first. So much of it flows through him off to the flanks and around behind the cage as well. He's being marked by Boston Sauceda, one of the standout freshmen on the Snohomish squad.
Snohomish is now man up, so you can see the double team happening behind the cage. Eastlake's trying to run out the clock to get back to even. Snohomish is trying to press to force that turnover so they can go back on possession.
Holding around behind is Johnson, as now he is being swarmed by Mason Orgill. Quick passing is further and further from the net. Now it's the captain over in Gavin Dallas. Cradling the ball, now picking up a burst of speed, cutting over to the left side, trying to work his way around Colton Perry. Shakes and bakes, steps up on the far wall. Spinning, surveying option, keeping it very close to the chest. The alligator arms holding that stick near his chest, trying to protect from any oncomers. Fakes a pass, now finally dishes it over to Crandall, a sophomore. Crandall got off to the season with a very hot start. 6 goals and 5 assists in his first 3 appearances this season. One of many strong young building blocks for this Wolves team. He's cradling, just trying, as you mentioned, running out the clock.
Yeah, 15 seconds to go in this penalty, and they will have killed the 2 minutes.
Holding on to it during the 8-on-8 period. Spinning off a defender, Crandall. Now works it over to the far side, stepping around behind with speed. It is Johnson once more. Being marked behind the net by Zarek Johansson. Keeping things to the perimeter, possession all Wolves.
They haven't released the player out of the box, so there must have been an additional penalty on top of it where he's now serving 3 minutes is my assumption.
Interesting.
Well, it looks like they're about to release right now, so a total of 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
There you go. Boston Sauceda still marking the possession being held here by Miles Johnson. Johnson surrenders possession of the ball over to Riley Carajale. And Carajale sets up a streaking Harrison Carter. Carter steps forward in front of Sauceda. Sauceda all over the field right now, but that is the kind of speedy play that we've come to expect from him. You were mentioning just before we started the game that he's been one of the most pleasant surprises as a young gun for this team.
Yeah, started out on the JV team and earned his minutes up on varsity and has been moving up the depth chart with really solid play.
And you always love it when the young kids are able to seize that opportunity, recognize that there's a moment and that they can be a part of it. That's true at any level. Quick ball movement around behind the net, still possession to the Wolves, as holding on to it is Crandall. Crandall stepping forward with speed, stops short at the far post. Wolves trying to keep the Panthers moving and on the balls of their feet, as now a pick set and stepping forward is Grassy. Grassy stopped in front of the net. A bouncing puck is cradled by Castillo. And the fervor finally comes to an end.
And that's where the slide came right on time, knocked the ball away. It's what we're looking for the defense to do.
It is now Sauceda who has it popped out from his netting. Leveled heavy hit out there in open field.
Nice check.
A good, solid high hit that's thrown there by Max Scott.
That would be into the boards if it was hockey.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be head first.
Max plays hockey, so that you can see it happening on the field.
A Jacob Truba-esque hit. Up the right side, Boston Sauceda. And now it is the Panthers looking to set up shop offensively. They find Cole States on the near side. One of 13 seniors. Finagling up to Sammy Flores. Flores holding on to the ball, trying to get the slide, bouncing ball. Reaching for it is Max Scott, and Scott tries to settle, and he gets it over to Flores again. As Flores, eking his way up the right side, slings it behind the Eastlake net. Taking a check but retaining possession is Hudson Smith. An aerial pass bounces, finds its way out to Scott once more. Over for Cole States. Maneuvering to his left. It is Flores, 12 goals on the season. Stepping over to his right, protecting with his right hand. Now gets it over towards the middle of the zone. He scores. Nice shot there by Sammy Flores. And the Panthers get their second goal of the contest.
Yeah, that's the distance we want to be shooting from. He dodged and spun through a couple of defenders and had a really good look at net.
7:05 to go here in the second. It is now 10-2. That's the kind of spark I think that Snohomish has needed here through the course. You need like that one exciting offensive play that starts to get some mojo building.
Yeah, hopefully we can build on that. A little bit of a slow start to the quarter, but hopefully this is going to build as we continue through to halftime.
Flores, his 13th goal of the season, his 7th in league play. Flores is coming off of a 2-goal contest back on the 21st at Stanwood. A continuation of a solid trend there for Flores. As backup with speed, here comes Avery Keith. Keith evades a defender, holding on the far side. As the sun begins to set behind Veterans Memorial Stadium. Worked in front, in and out of the stick of Spencer Flynn.
That was the look up we wanted. He drew the double team. Spencer was standing right on crease by himself. It's just a little bit past, not right on the mark.
And Flynn, something of a Mr. Consistency for the squad. Goals in 8 of 11 appearances for him. A solid season.
Yeah, I think I probably know Spencer the best.
I should say so. So what's the scouting report then of Spencer?
Spencer likes to dodge from X. That's his specialty. Looking to either score on the dunk or feed for the assist.
And a great coach.
Yeah.
Stepping forward in a shot that's saved on the goal line. A nice kneeling stop there by Nathan Castillo. That was an overhead shot that came from Gavin Dallas. Scramble in front of the Snohomish net, bouncing up into the air, still vying for possession as it hops up. And from a no-look shot that came off the stick of Dallas. It sails well wide.
See, I like the scrums like that. I like it when there's just a big pile and everybody's working after that ball. See, the coach is probably thinking to himself, no, we want finesse.
Run away, go to space.
I like the big huddle.
Yeah, that's a dog pile on the rabbit there.
Absolutely.
Stepping forward is Mason Stansbury. As Stansbury tries to split the defense, he's protecting to his right. He's able to shed one defender. In open space, sends around behind the net. Holding onto it is Spencer Flynn. A nice aerial. Stepping forward with it is Seaman. Seaman sending it towards the net. They score!
Another great look. Spencer drew the attention behind the cage, found the open man up top with Seaman. He had a nice dodge to the middle and then got right in that nice shooting distance.
Andrew Seamans, the junior, comes up with his 8th goal of the season.
And you have to wonder if the coach did take his foot off the gas. You know, I'm not saying that that's it, but if the coach did take his foot off the gas, he's probably wondering, well, we better try and get that mojo back. That's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, we'll see how do they adjust, with a couple of quick scores. We'll see if they put the foot back on the pedal.
I'm not saying they did.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from Snohomish. I'm just saying.
Oh, there's something to be said for a team that has a 10-goal lead. All of a sudden you start to think you can park the bus a little bit. Absolutely. Right. But there's still a lot of lacrosse still to be played. It's still an entire half to be played after this one. Still 5 minutes remaining here in the second. As a bouncing ball over by the 30-yard line hash mark on the field. Hops way up into the air, open space, stepping up and scoring is Seamans. His second of the game, it's 10-4. Working their way back into the contest are the Panthers.
That ground balls make a difference. I probably got a little bit lucky on that one. It popped out at the right time with no one between him and the cage, but a great finish. Those are always hard shots on the goalie.
As we take a look, the Red Seas part there for Seamans as he's got pay dirt in front of him. It's just him and the goaltender call. And a nice overhand shot for Seamans, his second of the game, his 9th of the season. And now the Panthers have at least pulled themselves within arm's reach, and now a bit of momentum swinging in favor of Snohomish. Back to work, winning the draw is Noah Martin. As Martin protects and spins and up the left side with speed. He's got a defender right by his hip. Slowing things down as the Panthers get a change. They send it over to the near side. Behind the net, it's Keaton Taylor, a senior, who had a hat trick in his last appearance at Stanwood. Out onto the far side, stepping up with it is Sammy Flores, one of the captains of the Panthers. Flores, from his right shoulder, sends it over to a stepping up Hudson Smith. Looking down low, they score. Hudson Smith, the initial shot, I believe that might have been Spencer Flynn right there at the near post.
It was Spencer sneaking up on the back post. Great look by Huddy. He's our leading assist, and you can see why. Just great vision on the field to find the open player.
Spencer Flynn will pick up his 19th goal of the season. That leads the Panthers, and the assist, as mentioned there, to Hudson Smith, who now has 14 helpers on the year. And a timeout will be called, and we'll throw it to a quick commercial break. You're listening to STSPN's presentation of Westco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You know, you can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back. And, you know, that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
Full practice, switch doctor, request immediate hot extract. Take it on.
Here on the team, you know, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else in the boat.
I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium. 4:13 remaining here in the second. Casey Bryant alongside Coach Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig, as 4 unanswered goals by Snohomish have brought the Panthers back within striking distance. It is now 10-5 in favor of the Eastlake High School Wolves. As the Wolves get possession back, looking on the attack, a long stick by Jake Ahrens protecting. A bouncing shot is sent wide. Might have gotten a piece of that was Nathan Castillo.
Yeah, the Poles always like to score a goal. You could see he was disappointed when he missed the shot.
A nice reach there by Ahrens, one of the more hulking players on the Wolves roster. As the Wolves will look to slow things down. They love to loop the perimeter of the offensive. As holding on to it is the ever-dangerous Gavin Dallas, through whom the offense flows. Over to his left, finds Johnson stepping forward. Forcing him back with a nice check is Colton Perry. Now searching for open space. Shot sent wide. This will bounce well out of play. 3:25 to go here before the half. Around behind, stepping forward, looking for an opening. A low to high, they score. A rising shot off the stick of Landon Johnson, and the freshman is able to answer back for Eastlake. It's 11-5.
Yeah, it started with a screen behind the cage. Snohomish defenders got hung up, let the man go through. He converted it for a goal.
And that's a shot that just blisters his way over the shoulder of Nathan Castillo there. You can see Sammy Flores reaching forward, trying to get the stop in front. And the Panthers, who have had to fight through adversity this entire evening, will once more have to come back, this time from a 6-goal deficit. Snohomish has dropped 2 of their last 3, and slow starts have been something that you've mentioned of an issue, Coach.
Yeah, we've had a couple of games where we've come out and the other team has dictated the tempo.
And there's another shot right off the draw, and they score. And there's Jake Ahrens getting that goal that he wanted. And a lively celebration there from the sophomore. It's now 12-5. And for Jake Ahrens, a big celebration for a reason. That's his first of the campaign. And for him, his first career goal.
I like it when there's a lot of chest bumping. That's good for replay.
And a lively celebration for Aarons, who appeared in 14 games last year. No points, had 23 ground balls, though, over the course of that season. He appeared in 2 playoff games as well. This year had an assist earlier in the year, back on just recently the 25th at Lake Washington. And there he is getting his first tally. Snohomish scooping it up and lofting it ahead is Stuart Morgan. Looking for a man on the left side that's off the stick of Spencer Flynn and out of bounds. And we'll get a change in possession with 2:53 remaining here in the second. From their own half of things, here come the Eastlake High School Wolves, who have able to return the favor when it comes to scoring. It's now 12-5 in their favor. Stepping forward with the short stick on the near side is Crandall, as Crandall is marked by the defending Johansson. Out to Anthony Grassi, who has himself a pair tonight. Grassi holding on his left shoulder. A light trot around behind the Snohomish net, now picks up a burst of speed, sending it into the cut in front. A bouncer at the far post, leaning forward Castillo, and he's got it trapped under the netting. Quickly in transition with speed. Fumbling with the ball moment is Cole States, and States takes a high hit. That will draw a flag. Took a two-hander right under the chin.
Yeah, I think they're going to call cross-check. So as the Eastlake player approached, had his hands separated on his stick and extended through the Snohomish player.
And at the very least, it's something you take some nicks and bruises for it, but Cole States, I'm sure, frustrated by the pass hopping in and out of his netting like that. Something good comes out of that sequence.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you make that play the first time and just move it upfield. But fortunately, man-up play now for Snohomish.
For States, who has been mired in a 5-game goalless drought, that's the longest of his last 2 campaigns. I'm sure a bit frustrating for him. He's accustomed to being that guy that they rely on to score, and as quick passing finds its way over to the near side post, and Sammy Flores wires it wide. Possession still to Snohomish as they scoop, and it's Spencer Flynn. Out to Hudson Smith. Smith finds Sauceda. Back to Smith on the near side. Sauceda steps forward, a body in front of him. Working it on the near side post. Down low to the doorstep. Looking to the far post. They score. Sammy Flores.
Yeah, that's the team not letting the ball just die on their stick, hitting the open players and rotating through. Sammy sneaking up from the back door, wide open for the pass.
And you see Alex Call there holding on to that near side post. They're able to shoot the far side over that left shoulder.
Yeah, great shot placement, low angle.
Pinpoint accuracy.
I couldn't tell whether maybe they did like a corner pocket shot off the pole, because it looked like it might have gone in and bounced right off the edge of that net in.
It sneaks its way through for sure. And Call has got himself a good stature on that near side. He takes up a lot of space. He's got his stick right in the right position there. But after the penalty, Snohomish able to capitalize. It is 12-6. Keeping things within arm's reach are the Panthers. As with possession of the ball and now working their way up with speed, it's Mason Orgill. On the prowl, Max Scott. Scott, a junior, comes from a lacrosse family. Older brother Damian playing lacrosse out at the University of Montana with the Grizzlies. A big influence in his picking up the game and has become a captain of the Snohomish High School squad. It is Avery Keith. Juking his way to his right, dishing to a soft area, a low to high, that's sent wide. Andrew Siemens was gunning for the hat trick, and he didn't miss it by much.
Good look.
Still to work, stepping forward as Siemens calling for it. They get it down low to the doorstep instead. Now Siemens receives. It's off the toe of his stick. He cradles it back on his right shoulder. And we'll get a stoppage in play with 40.2 seconds remaining. And a timeout is called. We'll throw it to a quick commercial break. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Westco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over. I am the beast.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
Back inside Veterans Memorial Stadium here at Snohomish High School as the Panthers trail the Eastlake High School Wolves 12-6. 35 seconds remaining in the half. Holding onto it is Sammy Flores. As Flores cradling the ball, stepping up on the right side, trying to strike one more time before heading into halftime. Holding around behind the cage, it's Spencer Flynn. Flynn holding onto it, looking for the cutter. In front, a nice stop by Alex Call, as I believe that caught the shoulder. Out to Avery Keith, 13.7 seconds left, and we will get another stoppage. And another timeout will be called by Snohomish. And once more, we will throw it to break. Casey Bryant here alongside Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire. Back inside Veterans Memorial Stadium, Casey Bryant, Jason Flynn, Todd Elvig here for STSPN's coverage of Snohomish High School and Eastlake High School. 13.7 seconds left, and the Panthers trying to get one last strike before half's end. They've got the ball over on the far side. Stepping forward is Keaton Taylor. Taylor has a defender draped all over him. 5 seconds left, and an errant pass. And possession will be to Eastlake. One last rush possible. A long stretch in and out of the stick of Miles Johnson, and that will do it for the second. Well, the Panthers show some fight. They make it a 12-6 game. And, Coach, heading into the half like this, the messaging for Snohomish would be what?
I think it's going to be the tale of two quarters. Came out a little bit flat in the first and dug a big hole. But in the second, if you just look at that quarter isolated, we won the quarter. So how do you build on that going into the second half?
And as mentioned, Todd, high-flying pace, a lot of bodies banging, exactly the kind of thing you like to see.
Exactly, and we, right here at the beginning of the half, I know everybody's looking forward to the senior night. We'll probably record that, put it up later, but we have to pay some bills. But at the beginning of the half, we will have all the scores in replays so that you can see them all.
Make sure you're staying tuned for that, and while you're at it, make sure you are throwing the Snohomish Times Sports Network a follow across all social media platforms. STSPN would also like to thank all of our broadcast sponsors, including Fred's Rivertown Ale House, McDaniel's Do It Best, American Family Insurance, G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Adrenaline Fundraising, Gene Johnson Plumbing, and the U.S. Navy, U.S. Marines, and U.S. Army. Be sure to tune in on May 19th for the Washington State Girls Championship on the Starfire Sports Renton, as well as the Washington State Boys Championships on May 27th. Both of them will be live on STSPN.com. We're going to throw it to a commercial break while Snohomish High School celebrates their seniors all 13 of them on their senior night festivities. 12-6 Wolves will be back after these commercial messages. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Westco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
right side is brought down after a player of the game, senior libero Lauren Riskin
has control.
Championship district tournaments, we have it here on STSPN.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths, and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So let's start here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
We at Gene Johnson are here and ready to help with our touch-free service. Being clean and safe are at the top of our minds. We're using gloves, masks, shoe covers, and lots of hand sanitizer. Our software allows us to get your approval without any physical contact. We hope you don't need us, but if you do, we're ready. Gene Johnson, clean, on time, and professional.
McDaniel's Do It Center is located in beautiful Snohomish, Washington. Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, they are proud to provide the Snohomish Valley with exceptional hardware, tools, lawn and garden, and sporting goods products. Their commitment to delivering legendary customer service and their outstanding employees continue to make McDaniel's the best and one of the most recognized Do It Best centers in the nation. Stop by and experience for yourself the difference between McDaniel's and the big box stores. Discover why so many people are choosing to shop at McDaniel's.
Come with us. The new generation. The next level. Sending it big.
You're in for a good run. Let's go.
Come with us to the track, to the trails, to the slopes, to the surf, to the fight, to the race.
Look at this!
To the 4 a.m. starts, training harder, pushing further, hitting back, hard. To the fans, to the followers, and the haters. Come with us to the blood, to the sweat, and the broken bones. You rehab. We never quit. We never give up. We take control. To the world titles.
He's fast, Grand Prix.
To the world's first. The world's best.
UFC strawweight champion.
Ready? Come with us. We're just getting started.
It's going to be so much fun, I promise you.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You know, you can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back. And, you know, that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
Full practice, switch doctor, requesting immediate hot extract. Take it on.
Here on the team, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else in the boats.
I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You know, you can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back. And, you know, that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
Full practice, switch doctor, requesting immediate hot extract. Take it on.
Here on the team, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else in the boats.
I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
Right beside is brought down after a player of the game, senior libero Lauren Riskin
has control.
Championship district tournaments, we have it here on STSPN.
Thanks to Les Schwab tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab tires.
Back inside Veterans Memorial Stadium at Snohomish High School, we are back with STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports presented by Les Schwab Tire. It is 12-6 in favor of the Eastlake High School Wolves over the Snohomish High School Panthers. We just got done with an extended halftime ceremony honoring the 13 seniors for Snohomish High School. Casey Bryant here alongside Coach Jason Flynn, as well as Todd Elvig. And Coach, looking at the Senior Day festivities, now that all of that is in the rear view, you're able to focus solely on the second half of this game. What adjustments would you like to see Snohomish make to get back into this contest?
Well, I think it's a continuation of what you saw in the second quarter. More time of possession, moving the ball around, and having settled offense. That was lacking in the first quarter. We were basically on our heels the entire first quarter, playing defense. The switch in the second was beneficial, and we got to see that continue into the third.
It is always Lady Mo. She is always a fickle mistress. And in the second, you saw Snohomish start to get a little bit more wind under their wings, a little bit more speed upfield.
Yeah, and it starts with beating the person that you're going against. Draw the slide and hit the open player. We saw that happen a couple of times, and some quick, easy goals for Snohomish.
So Eastlake will defend net right on your STSPN screens, and out come the Snohomish High School Panthers in their white pennies with black and red helmets. Be sure to follow Snohomish Times Sports Network across all social media platforms and log on to stspn.com. both tonight and for their future coverage of both the Washington State Girls Championship on May 19th and the Boys Championship on May 27th. Getting ready for the start of the third. It is 12-6 Wolves. Searching for a response are the Panthers, and away we go. Off the clamp and draw, racing fourth is Riley Hill. Hill protecting on the right side for Eastlake. Takes a couple of hardy stick checks from Noah Martin to the back and around behind the cage. This is where so much of the offensive action was for Eastlake over the course of the first half. They love to get things going from behind the net, working the perimeters, trying to draw Snohomish out of position there. Deliberately holding on as they go for a change. Out onto the field comes Gavin Dallas. Dallas is joined off the bench by Landon Johnson. Now with open space, a cut in front, and they score quickly off the draw. It's Anthony Grassi.
And I think they've scored more in that fashion than any other way. Starting the play from X, get the dodge, get the defense looking in the wrong direction, cutter on the back door, and it's just wide open right on the crease.
A great cut in front there for Grassi. We have talked all evening about his goal-scoring prowess. He uses his speed to get right up the middle of the field there. And for Grassi, believe that is his third of the contest, and if so, that is his 57th of the season. And Grassi, in his last 4 league games heading into tonight, had 15 goals. He has simply been lethal as a shooter, as he's got a long, promising career ahead of himself here with 2 more years still to play at the high school level. Back to Worth, here comes Miles Johnson. As Johnson with a bit of open field to work with, he snaps it. Open in front was Gavin Dallas, trying to surreptitiously catch the attention of his teammate over on the far wing. It is now Landon Johnson down to one knee, but still able to corral the ball. Holding on the near side behind the net, as Eastlake will set up over on the near side, providing support, is Thomas Crandall as an option. They'll elect to cut around behind the net with speed. Trying to work in close, cut off by the Snohomish defense. Now spinning off defender, working his way in front is Dallas. He is leveled in front of the net. Did he get it in? He wanted a flag, no call. And yes, indeed, that is a good goal as he looked to get that around the shoulders of Castillo.
I think they were looking to see if he stepped in the crease before the ball went in. Referees conferred and decided that it was a good goal. Nice inside roll.
And he took a heavy hit for his effort there. That's the kind of fearless play, though, that makes Gavin Dallas who he is. Todd, you see that kind of penetration? He's a hard-bodied player working his way to the crease like that.
I love that stuff. I don't know what the crease hole thing is, but, man, when I see him step up in there, I'm always thinking to myself, if you can just run straight at the goal, and everybody's like, no, you'll get hit. I'm like, take it.
That's what makes good players great, is that kind of fearlessness and ability to to grind opposing defenses into dust like that.
Yeah, and that's the one place that you don't want the other team is right on your crease, and so your coach, the defensive players to play body and get them out of there. That's where you see the big hits.
And it is a reversion back to what we saw at the beginning of the contest. As 2 minutes into the third, the Wolves have now extended their lead to 14-6. The penetration right in front of the net, getting to the crease, getting those cuts in front of the net, that's what Eastlake was able to do at the beginning. As there's a low to high shot, getting enough of that is Castillo as he went sprawling onto his hip. Not done yet, though, are the Wolves. As they look for the net, they send it wide, keeping things moving quickly. A sense of urgency to their attack. Reaching in is Castillo, unable to trap it. It's loose over on the far side. Scooping it off the ground are the Wolves. Around on his left shoulder, a slingshot there by Grassi that's sent wide. Good trebuchet action there by Grassi as I believe that was on his offhand as well, too. Good velo on that shot.
Yeah, left-handed coming across the top. But that's really where we want them shooting from. It gives Nathan a chance to make the stop and a little bit harder from an accuracy standpoint.
Castillo entered tonight's contest on a personal 4-game win streak, and he had won 6 of his last 7, but he is bested there. There's another tally for the Wolves. It's 15-6.
Yeah, an unfortunate rebound off of Nathan on the initial save. Just scooped up and dunked in.
And it is a carbon copy of the first quarter that we see here. 3 goals within the span of 3 minutes for Eastlake High.
Yeah, and it's starting on the play at X. So the face-off, what I've noticed a couple things. Noah, in a lot of cases, is winning the clamp, but we're not winning the wing play, meaning we're not getting the ground ball and moving it down for Snohomish possession. They're winning it and going their way.
It took until the second quarter for the face-off wins to start translating into offensive pressure for Snohomish for sure. As at one point in this game, it was 10-1 in favor of Eastlake. 4 unanswered goals after the fact by Snohomish. Made it 10-5, but since then they have not been able to cut it any closer than a 5-goal deficit. And still working his way around is Landon Johnson, who has points in every appearance this season. His best game came not long ago, back on April 19th, in a victory at Redmond. He had 4 goals and 7 assists in that game. One of many explosive offensive players as he sets up at the far post. An airborne ball reaching for it, trying to chop it off the field is Stuart Morgan. But the Wolves retain. Stepping with a chance in front, and they snipe it home. Taking a big hit for his effort is Tyler Ortloff, but he's able to field and snipe. It is 16-6.
Yeah, and it looks like Eastlake starting the second half the way they started the game, really piling it on early on.
You know, it's funny, Todd, you had mentioned that the eruption at the start of the game for Eastlake might have been quelled a bit as the game went on. The half, they start to settle into a more defensive mind, maybe a bit more conservative, parking the bus a bit. It seems that head coach Jason Montoya, his messaging at halftime, get right back to what we were doing at the start.
Absolutely. I think that the same game plan that they started the game with, I think they just reverted to that into the second half. And I think Snohomish is going to have to step up their energy just a little bit if they're going to want to get back in this.
There is still 8:14 remaining here in the
Long
third.
time.
Long time. It is now a 10-goal deficit as Eastlake leads. And they are back on the attack as cradling is Ortloff. And Ortloff will slide into his usual spot around behind the net. Along the perimeter. Settling things down is Gavin Dallas. Now he picks up a head of speed. Now you see the stutter step move there by Dallas as he gets a low to high shot. Goodness me, what a shot there by Dallas as he gets another one.
Yeah, and he drew the double team. It's just we couldn't stop him. That was just great play. And right now, Eastlake's really just playing make it, take it. Every time they make the goal, they're getting the face-off as well.
Now, Dallas is a Division I commit on these Eastlake High School Wolves. He is already committed to play for the University of Denver next year. He has goals in all 11 games. His best performance this year was 6 goals, and he may be coming up close to that by night's end. But it's that kind of a special move there by a special scorer where you're able to go from standing still to a full sprint in a blink.
Yeah, you just see the talent and that first step speed.
brought down from behind and a flag. And this will be a penalty going against Snohomish. 7:26 remaining in the third, already 17-6 in favor of the Wolves. And they'll get another penalty as a result and even more open space to work with on the offensive. Snohomish has been pushed back onto their heels as 5 goals in the first 4.5 minutes by Eastlake have once more now pushed things to the largest lead of the evening, 11 goals for Eastlake.
I'm just amazed by Eastlake's accuracy. They just seem to just nail that thing.
They have scored 17 times on 34 shots. That kind of accuracy you will take every time, I'm sure. As there's a pass around behind the net, quickly slinging it over to the near side. Ortloff out to Johnson, looking to the far post. That's a bouncing ball that ricochets off a leg and well out of play. Eastlake will retain offensive time. Over to his right is Johnson. Sends it to the near post, missing the mark by a significant margin is Gavin Dallas. He put a little too much mustard on that one. The Wolves still hanging on to it. With speed, cutting, looking to the near post, and they score an easy tap in. The 18th goal of the contest. This one comes off the stick of Ortloff.
Yeah, and that's where you see the difference in shot selection. So the first couple of shots were taken from the outside and went wide. As soon as they get an opportunity right on the crease for an easy dunk, high percentage shot.
It doesn't get much closer than that. He's just waiting on that near side.
Yeah, just watch this replay. It just is amazing how he picks that ball up. Boom. Just, wow.
Quick stick.
Not much that Castillo can do there as he's just got a man all alone in front. And there will be a timeout called with 6:43 remaining in the third, and Snohomish in dire need of mixing things up. A slow start for the Panthers has opened things up for the Wolves. A 12-goal lead. We'll take a quick timeout. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back, and that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
This is Witch Doctor requesting immediate hot extract.
Here on the team, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else in the boat.
I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
Back inside Veterans Memorial Stadium, Casey Bryant alongside Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig as the Wolves have scored 6 times in the first 6 minutes of the second half. It is now an 18-6 lead for Eastlake over Snohomish, looking to spoil the Snohomish senior night festivities. And they appear well on their way to doing so as Zarek Johansson carries the ball up the left side. And Snohomish will get really their first offensive extended look here of the second half. Snapping it over to the near side, it is Max Scott. Scott with a defender marking in front of him. lowers his shoulder, trying to get out to open space. He finds a man in front. There's a hard overhand shot that's blocked in front. And coming up with a stop is Alex Call. That's a hard shot by Avery Keith, and good up to the task is Call. Now quickly up the other way, here comes Dallas with a lane to his left. Ortloff will slow things down and allow the Wolves time to set up shop the way they see fit. And Gavin Dallas had a lane to the net there. He likes to hit the brakes and kill off more seconds of the clock and try to get goal number 19 here for the Wolves. Along the perimeter, out to Dallas once more as he's got Sammy Flores in front of him. Flores, a senior. A forced turnover for a moment, scooped back up by Eastlake. Eastlake has done a relatively good job of getting to those loose balls out on the open field.
Yeah, their speed has really been a factor in this game, and the first time ground ball as well. Snohomish has been to the ball the first time a couple of times, but just missed it that first go around, where Eastlake gets it the first and off to the races.
It's not the only reason why they're ahead, but in lacrosse you hear it so many times that the game is won on the ground. Yeah. And Eastlake has definitely had the upper hand there. Holding on to it is Crandall as Crandall works his way in, weaving through and sending a shot wide.
Yeah, and that's really where you want to see one of our defenders laying some body. You can't let them run through the middle of the defense chasing stick.
A lot of stick checks right now coming off of Snohomish, focusing, trying to get the possession. You see one thrown there by Zarek Johansson trying to knock the ball free. It's loose along the far sideline, and Snohomish will be able to pick it up and advance upfield. 4:15 remaining here in the third quarter, 18-6 in favor of the Wolves. As holding onto it and slinging it upfield is Nick Bush. Swarmed by two attackers is Sammy Flores. He coughs it up. Here's Grassi along the near side. He'll look to send it around behind the net. Now finds a man in front. Overhand shot, they score. It is Thomas Crandall with the shot, and Grassi forcing the turnover and making the Panthers pay. It is 19-6.
Looked like just a nice shot to the top left corner.
Great overhand shot, great velo that beats Castillo over the right shoulder, and going just before that shot too, it was the turnover along that near sideline that ultimately sinks Snohomish.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same story as the first quarter. Snohomish just doesn't get in time of possession in the offensive end, and it's hurting us. We're playing too much defense. When we had success in the second quarter, it was settled possessions that turned into offensive chances.
You are seeing the offensive prowess of Eastlake High at work. As mentioned at the top of the broadcast, though they lost their last game back on the 28th to Mount Si, they did have a 4-game win streak prior to that, over the course of which they were averaging 20 goals a game. There is a lot of talent, and now to work comes Cole States. States hungry to get back to the back of the net. Last season had 11 goals. This season with 5. As possession is coughed up to Eastlake. Holding onto it is Call, and he's able to maneuver the ball up. It is Miles Johnson looking for Landon. Throwing a stick check, having his stick lifted from behind, shoved from behind, and that will be a penalty going against Snohomish. A bit too eager in his pursuit of the ball is Colton Perry, and he will sit.
Maybe a little frustrated too.
I'm sure facing this kind of deficit, 13, you feel like you had a little bit of something heading into the second half, and the momentum has completely swung the other way. Is this a case, Coach, perhaps of just getting swept up in the festivities? Is that a distraction, do you think?
You know, it can be. There's a rhythm to the games, and when you have a senior night, it just disrupts the rhythm. And especially for our players that were involved in those festivities, all of a sudden you have to come back and flip the switch and get back into game mode.
As we get a halt in play, 19-6 is your score in favor of Eastlake, and they will have an opportunity for more while we have a moment to breathe. STSPN would like to thank our broadcast sponsors, including Fred's Rivertown Ale House, McDaniel's Do It Best, American Family Insurance, GNS Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Adrenaline Fundraising, Gene Johnson Plumbing, and the U.S. Navy, Marines, and Army. As very nearly turned over, as protecting with a long stick is Johansson. He swarmed, another turnover, and Eastlake gets it right back. Hard shoving, and Johansson still trying to protect. It is scooped up by Dallas. Dallas with an aerial pass over to the far post, and they score. What a feed from Dallas. Setting up the shot there by Riley Corrahale, and there's goal number 20.
Yeah, and it started with a ground ball again. Great play to get the stick in the air, get the possession, but just couldn't retain it. Turns into the goal.
And Johansson was fighting for his life there on his half of the field. He's trying to keep it away from all angles, but just too close to quarters.
Yeah, and he's another one of our really talented freshmen. He's going to have a bright future here with the program. Just unfortunate play.
Johansson has only played in 4 games prior to this. He has generated a few ground balls under his belt, no points to this point, but as mentioned, you see a lot of promise in the way he's played, and he's being tasked with playing a lot of minutes here tonight.
And it's another case where he started JV and earned his minutes up here on varsity.
Out towards the open space, it is scooped up with Elaine, thinking better of the shot. It is now out to Zachary Bishop. Looking in front, and that's stymied by Castillo. A long clearance at the gun. Hail Mary pass is connected, but it is for naught as time runs out on the third, and what a third it was for the Wolves. 8 goals in the frame. It is now 20-6 in favor of Eastlake High. We'll take a quick timeout before we head to the fourth. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Westco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
Back at Veterans Memorial Stadium, Casey Bryant alongside Jason Flynn and Todd Elvig for STSPN's presentation of Westco Conference Sports presented by Les Schwab Tire. Starting up the fourth quarter as the Wolves are up 20-6 after scoring 8 times in the third. They scored 3 in the first 3 minutes, and they simply never looked back. And they are once more on the prowl on the offensive. They have gotten great performances out of Anthony Grassi, Tyler Ortloff, and Gavin Dallas, exactly who you would think would come up big for the Wolves all evening. As a rolling ball is scooped up and held onto by Caden Eaton, as now you're going to start to see some of the younger kids on the Wolves get a little bit of playing time. Around behind the net as over to the far side, worked over to the near for Harrison Carter, getting his first extended touch of play. Slingshot pass finds its way over to Miles Johnson. He evades a defender, stepping up. An overhand shot bouncing through the wickets of Castillo, and they score. 21, and that comes off the stick of Miles Johnson. What a rush.
Yeah, it looks like he dodged 2 Snohomish defenders a little bit late on the slide and just hit body a little too late.
Gabe Ames tries to throw the truck stick on him there, but it's not enough to knock him off his axis. For Miles Johnson, his first goal of the game, his 7th of the season. Johnson is ordinarily relied on as a defensive player. He leads his team with 67 ground balls heading into tonight, and I tell you what, he's so small and so speedy, you can see why he has such a high number of ground balls this season.
Yeah, talented player for sure.
On the right side, working their way forward, Noah Martin finds a man behind the net, and now the Panthers looking to establish some form of offensive cohesion. They will get a change on the fly. Under 10 minutes to go here in regulation. It is 21-6 Wolves. Holding on to it is Sammy Flores. Flores maneuvers the ball over to his right. It is Josh Coleman. Holding on is Cole States as he steps forward over to his offside. Spin move over to his right. Flores out of his reach. And this will be an unforced turnover there for Snohomish as the pass errantly misses the mark.
Sorry about that.
All good here, all good. 9:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Now, in an opportunity like that, Coach, where you're trying to set up, you're trying to stop the bleeding for one thing, but also at this point, the game is far apart, 21-6. Do you still find that you're forcing it, or what do you look for now to try to establish some form of any kind of cohesion offensively?
I've been in the huddles with Coach Dillon in these types of situations, and I'm sure the message to the players was, don't worry about the score right now. Win the next play. Be deliberate about what we're doing and execute. Unfortunately, that's a situation, again, where we just didn't do that. But that's his message, is just take this thing one play at a time and win that possession.
And Coach Hummel has some familiarity with the coach across the way from him in Eastlake High, and Jason Montoya. The two of them coached together for an 8th grade team that went all the way to the World Series of Youth Lacrosse.
No kidding.
Yeah, a lot of players, a lot of familiarity on either side. This is the first and only time that they see each other this season, but they have great familiarity, and there's a lot of players on Eastlake as well that have played for Dylan Hummel for the Seattle Stars for the summer and fall leagues as well. 6 players in particular, in Anthony Grassi, Aiden Santini, Landon Johnson, Nolan Budish, Riley Hill, and Miles Johnson. So I'm sure Hummel certainly knows the book on those guys.
Yeah, he does for sure. I was down at the JV game before this. He knew a lot of those players as well.
Now, did you pick up where they play? Do they play at the high school, or do they have to play at a park? Or
let's see. When we played them last year, I think we played at their high school.
Because we'd be willing to go down there for the playoffs. I'm sure you want us up here for the playoffs here, but
of course.
Maybe we could do both.
The more lacrosse, the better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Our running clock is possession now to Snohomish. 7:15 remaining in the fourth. It is 21-6 in favor of Eastlake, as it is Nathan Castillo who has stopped 21 of 42 tonight. Sends it up the right side. With speed comes Flores. Still charging up the right side is Flores with possession. Looking for a man in open space. A bounce shot. They score. Avery Keith capitalizing on the rush by Flores. And the Panthers get their first goal of the half.
I think we needed that one.
Tremendous show of speed there for Sammy Flores, who has been one of the biggest spark plugs for the Panthers so far tonight.
You know, and as it was going down in my head, I was thinking, okay, just settle the play, move it around. Just took advantage of an open player in a good shooting position.
And I tell you what, looking at that replay, as he's charging up that right side, his head is up the whole way trying to search for a man in front of the net, and he finds one in Keith.
Yeah, that's a big difference with experienced players versus those still developing, is the field of vision. And not having to look down at the ground or the ball in your stick.
Flores gets his second goal of the contest, his 14th of the season. That eclipses last year's mark for him. He had 13 goals and 11 assists last year. He now has 14 goals with 17 helpers to go along with it. A loose ball is picked up by Eastlake. Heavy stick checks along the near sideline. And we will get a change in possession. It looked like the butt end of a stick came loose onto the field. It has to be reapplied.
Yeah, illegal to play without the butt end, just from a safety standpoint.
A flag on the play as Snohomish races forward. There's a pass looking to the near side post. It's broken up, scooped ahead by the Panthers. As holding on to it is Andrew Siemens. As Siemens has 2 goals tonight as well.
That must indicate that the flag is on Eastlake.
Yeah, flag on Eastlake. It's going to be called delay a game. What really happened there is the Eastlake player has to give 5 yards to the offensive player. In this case, our offensive player started going down towards goal without the 5 yards, and he tried to defend the Snohomish player, which resulted in the flag.
And so extended possession here with the flag still on the field as Siemens fakes his way over to his right, trying to get around a defender. He's marked all the way by Oteri. Searching for an opening. He's got an option in States. Looks him off, steps forward, an overhand shot that's stopped. As that's a good save made there in front by Connor Griswold, who has come in relief of Alex Call here in goal for Eastlake for the 4th quarter. Griswold has been ordinarily the starting goaltender for Eastlake this season, just trying to get him a little bit of action. He is 7-4 this year with a .409 save percentage and a 10.2 goals against average. 3-1 in league play this year.
Oh, we've got a mom down here, her sisters, is just going crazy with the head of some player. We're only seeing the back.
I always love when fans come with the fat heads of all their favorite players.
Yeah, each senior got a fat head tonight.
I tell you what, what's always fun when you get to the pro sports level, it's true of hockey, it's true of box lacrosse, when fans start getting down towards the boards and they start holding up the signs to get players' attention. If you give me a ball, you give me a puck, I'll trade you some Reese's, that kind of thing. There's a takeaway and stepping forward with an open lane, making his way in, and they score. A terrific move by Keaton Taylor.
Yeah, a little bit of luck involved there. The nice thing I saw about Keaton, as he has approached the goalie, he threw the fake, got the goalie moving, and then dumped it down low. Just like Dylan coaches him.
You see him with that over, and then sliding it past the hip of Griswold. A terrific play there by Keaton Taylor. His first goal of the contest for Taylor, his 13th tally of the season in this, his 9th appearance. And with under 3 minutes remaining, the Panthers have gotten a couple back. It's 21-8. Stepping forward and racing ahead with the ball for a moment, and we'll get a push and a stoppage in play. Snohomish on the attack, starting to pick up a bit of steam, executing a few plays in front as there's a pass over for States. States has a hook all over him. This will be a delayed penalty coming up against Eastlake as Avery Keith steps around a defender. Keith looking down low. Around behind the cage. Taking a step up is Colton Perry. Rising shot, he scores! Colton Perry, the senior, comes up with the goal.
So the funny thing is Colton typically plays with a long stick. I think they've given him a short stick because of senior night. Let him go have some fun. Good to see him get a goal.
And fun he has, as you see a good celebration there as he beats the goaltender, working his way in along the near side. And for Perry, his 3rd tally of the season, as you mentioned, ordinarily a defender, getting a chance to contribute offensively. Always love to see that. And you look at the starting lineup for Snohomish tonight. They started 9 seniors. So many of them were defenders, just trying to get them minutes, get them a shining moment on their home field. Always nice to see.
Yeah, just a great opportunity for them to shine on senior night.
Stepping forward with some room is Noah Martin. It is 21-9 now in favor of the Eastlake Wolves. A 3rd quarter explosion of goals for Eastlake has put the game all but out of reach, barring a miraculous comeback.
That would be miraculous.
It'd be one word for it. Leaning against a defender and dishing it to open space. Holding onto it is Hammock. Looks over to his right, Cole States. As States almost loses his footing.
And as I'm scanning the field, it looks like it's an all-senior offensive lineup.
You are right. 40 seconds left, getting one final salute here on senior night as Hammock sends it over to the far side. Looking for a bounce pass in front. It's intercepted by Eastlake with 25 seconds. Staying in bounds on the right side, stepping forward. Good cut move by Ben O'Terry as he sends around behind. One last chance here for the Wolves is a low to high shot. They score. One more for good measure. That one, a rising shot by Logan Drake. And that will do it for this one. The final score with one goal at the gun, 22-9. A senior night spoiled. And a standout performance from the STSPN player of the game, Gavin Dallas, the senior for Eastlake. He was truly a difference maker in this one.
Yeah, young, talented kid. Obviously going to have a bright future with their program and probably beyond.
Now for Snohomish, they lick their wounds, but they are back in action tomorrow at Shorecrest, and they wrap up their regular season Saturday versus Timberline.
What number is he?
He is number 11.
Number 11.
As we go to
grip down.
As we fetch Gavin Dallas for our post-game interview in a celebratory T-shirt and the accoutrement that comes with being the star player of the game. Coach, if from the perspective of Snohomish High School, it's a little bit of a backslide in these last couple of games, but how then do you look to turn the page and finish this season on the right foot?
I mean, I think there are bright spots for sure. We do have some young players, and even below the high school ranks, some of those players coming up from 7 and 8. We have a bright future. We'll graduate this senior class and wish them well the next step, but there's a lot of bright stuff ahead for our program.
Snohomish High School is now 7-8-0 overall, 4-3 in league play. Meanwhile, Eastlake improves to 10-7-0, a 6-4-0 league play record. It was their first game against a West Coast D1 school, and boy, oh boy, did they make an impact. 22 goals on the contest. Contributions up and down their lineup. Gavin Dallas, a big contributor. Anthony Grassi, Tyler Ortloff, a goal scorer, as well as some goal scorers that we don't ordinarily see on the stat sheet like Jake Aarons as well. Depth up and down their lineup for sure. We will throw it to a quick commercial break while we fetch Gavin Dallas and get him ready for the presentation of the player of the game. You are listening to STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire. Back with more on the postgame report in a moment.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So it's right here.
During our spring tire sale, we watch out for your wallet too. Save up to $175 when you buy select tires with financing. Les Schwab Tires.
Casey Bryant back inside Veterans Memorial Stadium here with the player of the game, Gavin Dallas, here for Eastlake High School. Gavin, quite the offensive performance, and it seemed like a really strong start for your group. What had you guys coming out firing on all cylinders like at the start of this game?
We had a tough game against Mount Si last Friday where we kind of started off hot and then slowed down and kind of lost it. We ended up losing that game, which was kind of tough, but that kind of lit a fire under us to come out strong and keep pushing. Second quarter was a little rough for us, but we ended up pulling it out, which was nice.
I tell you what, that game against Mount Si, it snapped a long win streak for you guys, over the course of which you were averaging 20 goals a game, another 22 goals here tonight. Yes. What's been clicking so well offensively for your group?
Yeah, we've got a lot of young guys this year. We graduated a lot of guys last year, so we got a lot of freshmen playing offense this year, young defense as well. But our offense is just, I'd say, pretty unselfish, and guys aren't going out there trying to play hero ball, which is good because we've had that in the past, and it hasn't worked out as well. So.
Now, I tell you what, goal number 20 is perhaps one of your finer assists of the year because you're lobbing that ball all the way across the length of the field. Do you see an open man there? What are you seeing on that play?
Yeah, I just kind of looked at numbers in front of me and saw there was one guy missing from the team and kind of looked on that back pipe, and he was sitting right there, and he made a great catch and a great play with that finish. So I was glad to get that assist.
Fantastic finish there. Now, you guys have one more game left in your regular season. What's the mood like in your locker room? What's the mentality heading into your last game Friday?
Yeah, a big game, rivalry game against Skyline. They won state last year, but they never beat us last year, so we want to continue that. They're right up the street. I got a lot of friends on that team, so I definitely don't want to lose that one.
Well, best of luck to you heading into that one. We do have a little bit of a gift for you before you go. The player of the game for the STSPN always gets a commemorative player of the game T-shirt, as well as a little lanyard there for you, so congratulations to you, Gavin.
Have a good night.
Pleasure having you on. We'll take a quick pick here for Todd. Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us, Gavin. Really appreciate it. And that'll just about wrap things up here from Veterans Memorial Stadium. A special thanks, of course, to Jason Flynn and to Todd Elvig for joining us here on the air. A pleasure of an evening. 22-9 is your final in favor of Eastlake High. A special thanks one more time to the broadcast sponsors of STSPN, to Fred's Rivertown Ale House, McDaniel's Do It Best, American Family Insurance, G&S Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, Adrenaline Fundraising, Gene Johnson Plumbing, U.S. Navy, U.S. Marines, and U.S. Army. A special thanks to the Washington State Lacrosse boys and girls for their support. Be sure to tune in to STSPN's Washington State Girls Championship coverage on May 19th. Coverage of the Boys Championships will be on May 27th. That'll wrap things up here from Snohomish High School. A special thanks to you wherever you may be listening or watching from. I'm Casey Bryant. This has been STSPN's presentation of Wesco Conference Sports, presented by Les Schwab Tire.